Hi developers, welcome back to the series of reactjs developer interview questions and answers. This is sixth video of this series. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I have kept all the 5 previous videos in a separate playlist called reactjs developer reactjs coding interview Q&A. You can access it from my channel. I'll leave the link of this whole playlist in the description, or you can find it in the cards that will be popped up in the top right corner of this video. So in this question we're going to discuss a interview question that I have attended like 2 years ago for IBM company. So here we have like uh, 3 steps in this question. First step is to create a model dialog that will be popped up on the screen, and so here using like we need to use the portals in React to create the dialog box, and we need to add the functionality to open and close that dialog box and do some basic styling and add some transitions while opening the model. So let's start. Let me close the preview. First of all, I'll create one folder called components. Always create folders when you're creating a new components. That way the panel will be tracking all these things, like you're organizing the code or not. So here I'm creating a component called, I'll say model.jsx. I'll just export it, const model export default model return div model, right? Model. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll call this model component here, right? Let's see the preview. We see model text here. That way we know that this component is rendering. So the first part is to create a model dialog using portals in React, right? So creating a portal in React would be fair and simple. We need to use React DOM to create portals. So let me import React DOM, import React DOM from React, right? And this should return, let's remove this one and just React DOM dot create. Yeah, I think I forgot the sentence to create portals. Let me see the documentation. Create portal in React, create portal. So create portal can be imported from React DOM, right? Okay. So yep, I think we can use that. Instead of getting the React router DOM, we just use create portal from React DOM, right? So here I'll just say create portal inside that. So this create portal has like expecting this children argument, and then there is container element, right? So we need to create one element here. So for that, let's add one children. Let's say div model component, and the second argument is we need to create that element, right? So let's see In index.js, we have document.getElement by id, right? We're going to use the same approach. So instead of calling it root, we'll just say model root, right? So you might you might be wondering why we're using portal and why panel has explicitly asked for portals, right? So in React, while dealing with the models and dialog boxes, we'll have to um, like use a different node altogether instead of keeping the models inside the existing DOM, so that we can avoid the situations of creating duplicate nodes, right? And also the styling would be properly uh, has to be maintained if we keep all the dialog box inside a single DOM. So if you use models, we can create separate node for a single model, and we can reuse it for doing our own like we can customize our own model components to reuse it for all other mod, like to reuse it in the whole project. So so just like if you have observed in index.html, here we are doing this one, right? The div, and we have an id which has root as value, right? This is where the DOM element is getting inserted. So right now we're creating another like React DOM, right? Using create portals, and the DOM ID will be model hyphen root. So we'll have to create one more node here and call it as model hyphen root. Now once this is done, and whenever this is opening in this component, instead of inserting the model inside the app, it will be inserted at this position, and the styling all will be separated for this node. So that way it will not interfere with the existing tree structure, HTML structure of the existing DOM element, that is root. So let's see. Now I've created this one, and let's see the preview. I'm expecting the same result. Yes, model component. And right now you see this, right? Like the model component is, I guess this that the font is Times New Roman and it is aligned to the left. But if you have observed the styling part of app class, we have font family, we have text and also, which is not affecting this component because we have created a separate node for this and we didn't do any styling for this, right? That's why it's not taking any effect, even though it is rendering inside the app class div. It's not taking effect. So that's why it's a powerful concept in React. We can make use of portals to create models. So the component is ready. We can do our um, um, like development now. What I'll do is I'll just take one I'll call it as uh, model model viewport or something. So what I what I'm assuming is when a model is opening, the background will be blurred, right? So this model viewport container will be having that blurred background. And here I'll take one more div. I'll call it as model container. Model container. This will be like on top of that background, we'll see that model, right, with some background color, with some header and all. So this is that container, and inside that, I'll create one div. I'll call it as model header, and inside header we have let's say a p tag or something, header title, right? And then there is a button, right? To close it, close the button, close button, and we'll add some class names to it. Class name, header title, X button, right? And after header, we'll have model body, and inside that, we'll just say H5 tag model body, and then there is at the last model footer, and inside footer uh, I'm assuming that there will be a close button, and then there will be a continue button which will do an action eventually. Since we are creating a sample model component, I'm going to assume that there will be two buttons in the footer. First button is close. I'll say close btn. Second button is continue btn. Continue. Okay. So let's see the preview. Yep, everything is good. And let's add some styling. I'll create one styling file, CSS file, and I'll use the CSS file here, import /model.css. Right. Let's start with model viewport. And so here by default, so at the start the position will be fixed, top will be 0, because it has to be fixed, right? It shouldn't be moving, the background shouldn't be moving. Top, bottom 0, bottom 0, left 0, right 0. And background color, let's take something black, and then let's do some changes in the opacity. Let's say from here, this would be fine. And let's add some backdrop filter, blur to 1M. Let's see, preview. Right, so the blur effect is not showing because there is no content behind the existing model component, right? So that's fine. I will do that later. Model viewport is done, and then now model container, right? Container. And before that, what I'll do is I'll just say display flex. I want to keep everything in the center inside this model viewport. So justify content center, align items center. Let's see. Yep, everything is at the center. Now let's add some styling to the model container part. Let me add some background color at the start. I'll say white only. Yep, and there must be some border radius 1M. Right, now what I'll do is there is a gap right here, header title and out. Header title, why there is a gap for the header title? Header title is a p tag. So yeah, I think for all the elements we're applying the default margins and paddings. What I'll do is I'll just say box sizing border box, margin 0, padding 0. Right, now nothing is getting affected unless we add some padding or margins. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly do the styling of the header. Container is done. Let me add some minimum width to the container. Let's say 300 pixels or something. 300 pixels, that's fine. And let's say max width also, there should be like 100 pixels. No, let's say 700 pixels, should be more than that. Now let's start with model header, display flex, right? Justify content space between, right? And there should be padding, right? Padding 1 em. Yep, 1 em is good. And there should be background color. Background color aquamarine. This is not good. Something like light color. Yeah, I think this is fine. The border radius has to be there. So let's see, border radius. Right. The border radius are applying for all corners. We need just the top left and top right. Right, so I'll just add those things. Top right and top left. Should be up. Right. Now the bottom ones are not affecting. That's good. And here there is a X button, right? That's what I have called, right? X button. X-BTN. You know what? I'll just add some styling for all the buttons here. Button, background color transparent, and border none. Right. That's good. And clicking it should take some effect, right? We should know that it is getting clicked. What I'll do is I'll just say button when it is active. I'll do some scale. No, I'll say transform scale to 0.9 0.95 or something, so that way when I click this one, is it showing any change? No. 0.9, let's see, 0.9. Yeah, I think there is some change is happening. 1.4. Yeah, 0. Let's see, let's take for 0.95 for now, and let's add some smooth transition 0.5 seconds. No, that's too much. 0.2 seconds. Should be affecting the transform, and ease in out. That's good. Here there is a slight change in the scale. It's not visible unless we have some background or a border for the buttons. So X button will be having a background color at the start. Let's take black, and it should have some width. Width should be 40 pixels. Height should be 40 pixels. That's too much. 30 would be enough, I guess. 30 is also still too much. The font is not applying, right? We need to have that font. So let's move this font to asterisk so that everything is applied. And yep, the background color is still black. Let's add some different color. Let's say this one. Okay, I think that is fine. And when I'm hovering it, we should have some change in color, right? So background color, we'll just copy this and paste it, and when I'm hovering it, it should turn to somewhat darker, right? That's happening. And let's add some border radius to 50% to make it round. No, 1 em, that's still 8 pixels. Yeah, 8 pixels would be fine. And here, after adding some display flex in the header, what we'll do is we'll just add align items to center to make it align vertically. Header title and the same. Now, clicking is taking something. It's not showing much difference. Let me do this. I'll just say like 0.9 and 0.2 seconds. I think it's too late. Yep, some effect is there. And also what I wanted to do is I'll just do this active. When this is active, the background color should be reverted. Yeah, let's see. That's not good. Let's remove this for now. It's not needed. Anyway, we are knowing that it is getting clicked, right? So that's fine. Now let's move to model body. Dot model hyphen body. Display flex. For now, there is nothing, right? I'll just say align, text align to center. Text align to center and some padding to 1em. Right. Now, so let's add some border bottom to the header. 1 pixel solid black. It's not visible, right? Okay. Right, this is good. Model body is there. Then let's move to the footer. Dot model footer. Again, display flex. This time justify content to end, and there should be a gap, right? Gap, minimum gap 1em would be fine. Now what I'll do is I'll just add some padding again, padding 1em. And border, instead of doing border bottom here, I'll just copy this one, border top, so that the border is there for footer also. Now background, let's add some background color here, or we can just keep it as transparent, or let's add some background color. There's no problem. Black. So the border radius has to be there again. Instead of top, we'll just do bottom. And this should be something like, yep, this is fine. Now let's add some styling to the buttons. Dot close ptm. I think that's what I have kept the class name for close button and continue button. Yeah. Close button. I'll do some padding. No. Let's add some padding. Before that, let's add some background color so that it will be visible. So since this is close button, I'll just do some red color or something. Yep. Padding 1 em. Too much? No, not too much. 0.5 em would be fine, and horizontally it should be 1 em, or I'll take 2 em. Yep. Now let's add some border radius. Border radius 8 pixels. Right. The scaling is happening. Clicking it, and let's add some styling when we hover on it. Only the background color should be changed. So I'll just make it a little bit darker when it is hovered, right? And color should be white, right? Let's do the same thing for continue button also. Continue button, right? Let's do some styling. Blue would be fine, right? Right, okay, good. Everything is looking good. I think we can increase some more width for the whole model container. Let's increase minimum width to 400 or something. Yeah, this is good. And I guess it is responsive. No, it's not, because we kept the minimum width as 400 pixels. In that case, what we'll do is we'll just we remove this. It is like this. What we can do here to make it responsive when the minimum width is not there. I guess we'll have to use the media queries for that. Let's do that. At media screen min width for now let's avoid this one necessarily. It's not into the scope of the question that has been asked. Let's see if it makes a problem. We'll see about it. There's no problem. For now, I think let's see what is the progress that has been made till now. The first part, create a model dialog using portals, that is done, and adding the functionality is not done. We're just displaying the model here. We didn't add any functionality like opening and closing the model. And styling, a little bit of styling is done. Yep. And adding smooth transitions while opening, that is also still pending. Let's start with the functionality. It's actually very easy. So initially this will be closed, right? What I'll do is I'll just take one. I'll just remove one preview for now. So this is app component. Inside that I'll take one state is open, set is open, which will be taking one boolean state variable. Use state. So initially it will be false. I will do it. What I'll do is I'll just create one function, handle, or I'll just say on open. This function will just set is open to true. I'll take one more function on close. this will do set is open to false, right? I'll just do one more function on continue. If you might be wondering why these functions are needed, on open is to like open the dialog, that's good, but on close and on continue will be passed as props to the model component that we're calling here, so that the close buttons events will be handled inside that component, right? And to handle that we need these functions. Set is yeah, for now on clicking the continue also, let's just close it, not string, just the false, right? We'll just pass it on close is equal to on close, on continue is equal to on continue, right? So here I'll add one more button, open dialog model or something, open model. Let's see the preview. Yeah, so this should be opening when the is open is true, right? So we need to pass the is opening also as a prop to handle the state of the opening state of the dialog. So let's pass it, and inside this component let's handle those is open, on close, on continue, right? So if let's add some condition, if not is open, if it is not there then just return null, don't return anything, otherwise return this, right? Let's see. Now clicking this should be opening, right? Why it's not opening? Oh, we have added the button, we're not calling that function. On close, sorry, on open, I'll just say on click, on open, right? Opening this will open the dialog, that's cool, but clicking all these should be closing the dialog, right? So let's handle those functions also. Inside model.js, I'll just say on close, this X button should be handling that on close, right? On click, on close, on click, and the close button will also do the same, but this one should do on continue, right? Let's see the functionality now. Open model, it is open, close, open model, clicking the close will also close, and clicking the continue will also has to be closing the button. Now the functionality is added. Now what are the pending things? Create a model, add functionality, this is done, style the model and add smooth transitions. Let's see the transitions. Open model, first of all this open model button is not so great, let's add some styling to it. On no, class, right? Class name open btn style.css dot open btn, background color something like this. Let's close this one. Color, oh, color is black, fine, but this one is actually more darker. Let's keep it light. This is good. Let's add some padding. 1M, 2M. There is no break here, so let's add some break. Right. Border radius 1M. Right. And clicking this will open the button. The blur is not taking effect, right? Model.jsx, backdrop filter, blur spelling is wrong. Blur. Right. 1M is too much. 10 pixels. Too less. 1 pixels. 10 pixels. Yeah. This is good. Closing it, opening it, everything is working. Now for the smooth transitions, what I'm expecting is when the modal is opened, it should be opening with a smooth transition, right? So let's add that. So initially for that we'll use keyframes and the identifier, and so for the background color we'll just call VP viewport animation, right? And I'm gonna use from notation, from and then to. So when initially the component renders in the UI, this will start the animation from this to this, like whatever styling we keep here, and it will transition to here whenever it renders in the UI. So initially the background color should be instead of doing the background color, I'll just take some opacity to 0 and then opacity to 1. Let's do this, and we need to call this animation here. Animation, name, duration, this is all shorthand. Name would be what? Model VP animation. Duration is what? Let's say 0.2 seconds. And 0.2 seconds. They shouldn't timing function. Nothing, I think. Shouldn't be having any effect here. Reload. Opening it. Yeah. You see some change, right? You see some change is there, right? So if I remove this one, so it should be suddenly it is appearing. You can clearly see it if I increase the time, let's say 1 second or something. Now I open it. Yep, it's so smooth. Okay, now what we'll do is for the dialog box, it should be like appearing with a smooth scaling effect, right? Because right now along with the background color the dialog is appearing, right? It is smooth, but there should be some more, like there could be some more animation, like scaling from the shrinking position to the actual position, right? So we'll add one more animation for the at keyframes. This animation is for model container, like the container that we have inside. Model container animation. So we'll do the same thing from to. So here instead of doing the opacity, we'll use transform, scale to 0.6, let's say 5, and the same property we have to use, and instead of 0.5 we'll use 1. And the way we are calling here, we need to use the same thing here. Let's see, opening it. So okay, we need to change it, right? Not viewport, it's container language, right? Yeah, I think everything is good. The animation is smooth. Instead of keeping it 1 second, I'll just say 0.2 seconds. This one also 0.2 seconds, something like that. Yep. Still it feels a lot faster. I'll say 0.5 seconds. Right. Nice. The transition is happening. It's good. Now what we'll do is, yeah, I think that is it. Everything is done. So creating a model is done. Add functionality for open, closing, and styling is done. Nice. Everything is looking good. So here is one more bonus step that I wanted to share. So usually, like when we're dealing with models, we click on this negative space, right? Like on top of these things, we can click the X button, we can click close and continue. But clicking on this negative space as in like the space that is not inside this container, whichever that we have the blur, right, in the background. So clicking this usually would close the dialog that has been opened. So let's see that. Add functionality, add close functionality while when negative space is clicked. Let's try that. So in the .tsx, this is the negative space, right? This whole model hyphen vp will contain the whole negative space. I'll create one function const handle negative. I'll close this preview negative space click. What will this is this will just call on close. That way this will just close the component, and this will be on clicking of this one, right? Let's see. Okay, model is open. Clicking on the negative space is closing. That's good. But again, like if I click on somewhere else, like on the header or on the model body or on the close or close or cancel are doing the closing on only, and X will do the close, but clicking on the positive space will also is closing the component, right? It shouldn't be happening. So for that, let's handle the event delegation, right? So in event delegation, when a parent is clicked, the subsequent event will be passed to the children and all, and the subchildren also, all the way to the last nested children. So that's why this is happening. Like clicking on any of the children here will take effect on the parent, which in turn like clicking on the parent only, right? That because we have kept the on click on the whole parent here. So to handle that, we can take advantage of the class name model hyphen vp. So let's take one event here. I'll call it as event, and now here if I just say console dot log e dot target, right? Let's see what happens here. And for now I'll just comment this on close. The console, clicking this, what is it saying? E dot target. Okay, this should be event, right? Not e, right? cancel this. Okay, clicking this. So we see some details in the console, right? And if you inspect these details, you'll find something like class name, model-header. Clicking on the header will give us the model-header class name. Clicking on this negative space, let's see the class name here, model-vp. So what we'll do is we'll take advantage of this one. So if event dot target dot class name is equal to model-vp. If it is viewport, then do this close, right? Otherwise it won't do anything, right? There is no else condition here. So let's see the action. Opening it, clicking on the negative space is closing, but clicking on the other spaces like header, title and all, it's not closing, right? Yeah, I think that is it. Everything is solved. Even the transition is smooth and it is staying there. Yeah, I think we have solved everything. Thanks for watching the whole video. And again, I'm reminding you, I'm prepared the whole playlist for all the interview questions that I have attended and kept it in a playlist in my channel. I'll leave the link of this playlist in the description. Thank you.